Alright guys, how's it going? It is Mr. Extra from Team Extra, back at it again with more Malice content. Alright, so this video is going to cover two things, right? First one is it's going to cover Malice and the variants you can play, because a lot of people in this format are trying to figure out which version they want to play, right? So I have like the four main versions, or like what's involved with them laid out, right? And then I'll explain that in the second. And then the second part of this video will be doing lines making board under shifter, meaning your main decking shifter more than likely. Okay, let's get into it. So, pros and cons of each one. I'll go through it, I'll explain it, I'll give you my take, and then we'll move on from there, right? So first off, we have Malice with Fiend Smith, right? Now, Fiend Smith, as you know, is pretty good. It's really good. But it also takes up 5 deck slots. You don't have to play Wave King, but if you're playing Fiend Smith, why wouldn't you play Wave King? That explains itself. Anyone who's played Malice before, or if you're watching this video, it means you probably are either interested in Malice or you're already playing it. You know as well as I do that that extra deck is tight. Do you think that you can give up 5 slots very easily without it like compromising your recursion? Because Malice is really good for recursion as well too, especially with their extra deck. Because when it comes to, like, let's say you have 2 engraver and then Lacrima, or your 3 engraver and then the Trident Lure, you can get all that in the main. That's the easy part. The hard part is you are trading 5 extra deck slots to potentially, you know, do it better. And then at that point, you might as well not even run the Terahertz and you just run like Nightmare Griffin, right? So my take on this is do what you will with it. If you have it, play it. I personally think that I'll tell you my preference at the end on which one I prefer to personally play and reasons. So there's that. So good extension, but it takes up 5 slots. You get Desiree, cool, but thing is, like, it's not necessary, I feel like, my opinion. Next, you have the cash version. So cash version actually just plays these ratios right here, ironically enough, depending on how far in. And cash version, pretty good. Relatively low ceiling, high impact, mostly because of Unicorn. Fenrir's not as good as it used to be anymore, and we're gonna just acknowledge that right there, because Fenrir has to do stuff in resolution. He was good before. I think it's a so-and-so now, but you'd mainly play this one, Cash Engine, mainly to just do the Unicorn rip, and then try to hopefully get a free special summon body off of rips, to where you don't get punished on your normal summon and get hand trapped into the ground, to where you have to pass. Which, on my take with that, I would play this, but it's just not what I want to play personally. Do I think Unicorn's good? Yeah. Would I like to open Wraiths off to bait out interaction? Yeah, but Malice is already good for baiting out interaction. I mean, if you play the deck, you already know how good this deck is at dodging stuff. So if it targets, oh man, that's crazy. Anyways, trap card. But you can play it if you want. My opinion is yes and no. Fiend Smith, I feel like it's just not necessary. So you're playing like an expensive extra engine, but you're trading too much for it. Cash, if you have the choice between these two, I would play Cash. Just because it would be easier to fit in your deck and you're not trading extra deck for it. Next, we have the Sky Striker version, which is I know I don't have 3 engage here, but they play the 1 Kagari, they play the 3 engage, a Widowhanger, a Shark Cannon, and this token here, this token's supposed to be Hornet Drones. Just imagine it as Hornet Drones, right? Now this version you play when you want to like do a lot of deep drawing and everything, but the deck already does that. So I feel like this is, again, dealer's choice. If you like Sky Striker cards, yes. If you think they're low impact, no. Just, I feel like you could brick on these cards. What happens if they shut out your turn? You set on Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon and hope that that's enough. Anyone who's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially this past year, knows that just 2 interactions usually is not enough to get you to survive another turn. Most of the time. But I am going to point out that for variants, the best variant that is doing so far, based off of actual results from like YCS, regional stuff like that, is this Sky Striker version. I know that for the YCS, Jib went 11-1. I know I don't know Jib personally, but his list was pretty decent. I wouldn't play it personally just because I don't like Sky Striker cards like everyone else does, even though I used to be a Sky Striker player. But, hey, dealer's choice. Now, let's go to the last take. Last take is you play Pure with Bestials, Hand Traps, and Crossout. Now, I have a lot to unpack for this one real quick. So, I like Pure the most. This is the version I'm playing right now. Mostly because Bestials are very interactive still. Because people are still playing Fiend Smith, they're playing Azamina, Bestials trade for all that stuff. Not to mention, Crossout on Lancia is crazy. Crossout on Nibiru is also crazy. Crossout in general is crazy in this deck, if you use it correctly. Because I've been punished by the card, and I've used the card in the game too, where they lance, yeah, they go first, put it up board, and then they lance me, and then I cross it out. You know, crazy stuff like that, right? But I feel like because this deck plays like a combination, I've told a bunch of people, playing Malice, because I'm not one for Cybers piles or Cybers decks, playing Malice feels like I'm playing a combination of Marincess and Salomon Great. Salomon Great with their reoccurring trap cards that they can get on board and everything, and Marincess with just the massive extension that they have. Not to mention, guys, they've already announced 2 new cards for Malice. We're getting a quick play spell that's a negate, and we're getting another main deck body. Alright? So, at the end of the day, variant wise, play what you want. It's all preference. All of it is preference. Do not tailor your deck to play like specifically for your like locals, right? Especially if you're doing like the regional scene. You could be the best player at your locals because you tailor your deck to deal with the people you play all the time at locals, and then go to a regional and then lose your first 3 games and then have to drop. Does that make sense? I feel like that part makes sense. Now, let's go to the second half of this video. Second half of this video is going to be real simple. I've gotten a lot of questions of, like, if you're main decking Shifter, right? How do you play under Shifter? Like, what's your inboard and what's your lines? I'll show you guys the most basic line under Shifter, and you'd be surprised how much the same it is. You're just doing different stuff, right? So, I'm going to go ahead and get the deck out, right? And, we're going to, I'm going to just put a Shifter in my hand, just to start this off, right? And we're just going to do some cuts real quick. And then I'm going to build a board under the Shifter with a freshly drawn hand. All I need is, if you guys watched any of my videos so far about this, any of the 1-card combos that was in a previous video, which you can go back and look if you need to, will work. Or name in general will work here. Mostly because it's just better. So there's the Shifter, Underground, Dormouse, Underground, Dormouse. Now we got doubles, but we don't care. Okay, so start off with the Shifter. So banish, Spanish, good stuff, right? So we can still do Dormouse, Dormouse effect, right? Now essentially we are going to end on Cryptor. I don't know why I just shuffled. There's no point. We're going back in. Rabbit effect. Our hand's right here. Rabbit will set a trap. Now in this situation you are under Shifter. So, but I would still grab this trap card just because it's better. It's better for what you're trying to do here, right? Now, Dormouse has not been banished yet. So we're going to link this thing away. And you can either make a Link Karibo, or you could just make your decoder. In this case, I would probably make, let's go with, I don't really need decoder right now. Plus, after the whole thing is Shifter, then, yeah. So, guess what? Now, we got decoder, Dormouse will come back. Now, we're going to go ahead and do TP11. We don't really, like, realistically, we don't need the TP11 here. But I'm going to, because we want our extra extension. TP11, get the cat. Trap will get banished, that's fine. Now we have 2 undergrounds, so we really do not need to go into, we really just don't need to go into, I mean, we can go into Ransom to get Dormouse, that's probably like the main thing we could do here, which we are probably still gonna, well, ransom to get to Dotscaper, guys. Sorry about that. So, we get ransom. We'll go ransom 1, cat 2. Cat's the only one that has not come back yet. We'll just put cat right there. Ransom, get her last field spell. We're gonna get ready to deep draw, so bam. Now we got all 3 in rotation, which means we got a bunch of extension depending on how we want to do this. And then we're gonna go cat effect. We're gonna banish this. We're gonna draw 2 more. Another Dormouse, a Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is irrelevant here because it's technically dead. But for Shifter being mained right now, Foolish is kind of rough. So our next play is to try to extend a little bit more. Now at this point, we realistically just have to make a link monster just to get these guys off board. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of these, make the Haggard Lizard. And then Ransom will come back. Ransom will dump. Dump the Dot. Dot will come back. Haggard. Banish a Shifter. This is in case you get into another one during your drawing. And then target the Haggard to make it gain, but that's irrelevant here. Now from here, we can just kind of do a bunch of stuff. Like these field spells are effectively dead, but we opened doubles, so the hand was still okay. Now we have 2 choices. We could go straight into Binder, or we could go into Cryptor here. It kind of doesn't matter how we do it. But I would probably still go into Binder and then go into Cryptor. Right? Well, I'd still go in the Binder for the trap card, realistically. Because Splash would be my normal take here if I was not playing Shifter, or if I didn't Shifter. But we're still going to just go ahead and go into it. Because it's either going to Binder or Neo. Binder here wouldn't help. Okay. Well, Neo wouldn't help. And then we'll go Binder second effect. We're going to set a trap. And since you're under Shifter, these trap cards are, they're not as good. But I mean, you're still going to interact regardless. Okay. Then we just go trap card, banish. Now you can choose to just bring back a generic name here. You can bring back ransom. Doesn't really matter. We're going to draw again, so. My general case here is I would probably bring back the ransom. And then Binder effect. Binder will also come back. We will draw a card. And we drew into Drew's Worm, which is dead here as well. But that's fine. Now we don't have any kind of interaction here right now. We can still make Fireball. We'll just set the Foolish Burial as generic bait. They're still under the Shifter. And then realistically, if I didn't Haggard Lizard, I actually could have made Cryptor right here. But that's just me not knowing what I'm going to draw. So effectively, you can end on Fireball here, but I wouldn't. I would actually probably just leave these bodies on board for the time being, and then just bait it. Or just end on... well, actually, end on Nightmare Griffin, really. That's your other choice. The handless dog, but, you know, can't win them all, right? So I'll do one more real quick, just to show you, like, pros and cons. Because, like, Shifter's good. It hurts a lot of decks. It also hurts you, depending on what you're trying to do. But realistically, do I think that it should main deck it? Yes and no. Like, I play Silent Mining, but that's because I can't find my allures and I'm lazy. So we're going to leave the Shifter in hand. And then we're just going to see what we draw real quick. Okay. Like that. Realistically, I didn't know I was going to draw Bestial. So, I could have still ended on Cryptor there. Alright, so Shifter, cross out, Ash, White. Okay, cool. Shifter. Sure. White effect. I mean, we got Ash and Permanent Cross out. We are good to go. We're good to just start doing stuff here. Trap. Now we could just straight up blink off in the decoder here, or we could just shotgun this trap card right here. So we're gonna shotgun the trap. They try to stop it. We cross it out. So Dormouse, rabbit effect, come back. Link. Decoder, Dormouse, come back. Dormouse effect, get cat. Cat effect, come back. Now that's a fully live cat here. Okay. Now all of the names have been banished, but we're gonna go ahead and since now if you have Shifter live, your field spell kinda is dead a little bit. So we'll take these three. Banish them all. Ransom effect. Field spell. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little cut here. A little shuffle special. This is our hand still. Chessy Cat. Draw 2 more. We got a Veiler that's also effectively dead. In the case of Manning Shifter though, Veiler could easily just be Mourner, so I might actually just play Mourner this week just to see the impact difference in the two. Now from here we just gotta get Ransom off board, right? We don't need to go into Splash Mage, we'll still make the Haggard. We either make the Haggard or we just make the Nightmare Griffin, but we would want to make the Nightmare Griffin down here. So Haggard. And then we go Ransom effect, come back. And then Ransom, dump the dot. And then dot, come back. Alright? This is what we're looking at right now. Our hand's looking pretty juicy. We have a follow-up after Shifter's gone. This would be a lure effectively. But can't get everything, you know? Alright. Now from here, we're going to have to make binders still. But we're going to need to actually commit a little differently here. Because, let's see. I'd still make the binder here, yeah. Let's go, these two. Into binder. Ironically enough, we can binder effect and put the Shifter, which we're going to here. Because, why not? Watch me draw a Bestial, guys. Watch me draw a Bestial, actually. Alright. And then binder effect to set trap. And then do trap. Banish. Bring back Ransom. Binder effect. Dot's in the wrong spot, but irrelevant. Put binder there, draw another card, and we drew Chessy, which is fine. Now from here, we could just go into Cryptor. Alright, we got follow up here. So realistically, it's just go into Cryptor or go into Nightmare. Which, Nightmare would be pretty cool here too. Cryptor would be like Interruption, but Nightmare would make it really weird. Especially with me having to cross out for Imperm. So I'd actually go to Nightmare here. So what I would do effectively is, it doesn't really matter what you take out of these two. Just either or, really. Because you're going to link some in the Nightmare down here. We're going to keep the binder on board. Yeah. Keep the binder on board for draw. And at that point, they're under Nightmare. And then we set the imperm. We set the cross out. And then we hold on to this Ash. And we got full follow-up after Shifter's gone. But that's all I could really, come up with for the time being when it comes to like playing under Shifter. There's a couple different ways to do it. It just depends on how you open. Because if you open the Shifter and then open like Dormouse or open one of the traps along with it, then you don't have to waste as much to play under the Shifter, because the crackback is, you do that, you draw for turn, you draw your underground, they got to play through this, they got to play through the Ash still, and they also got to play through Griffin. Chances are, for the Griffin, they're going to try to imperm it. We cross out the imperm. Now they can't do anything with monster special summon unless they're in a zone that a link monster points to, which I'm not going to let them do link summoning, so there it goes. I hope I explained this a little bit more for you guys. I know it seems a bit like rough, but I'm still learning it myself too when it comes to like certain lines. But most of the time when I hit someone with Shifter and then I build board, I usually just win. Usually. But sorry that the video is so long, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. There will be more stuff. I have match videos from locals as well on Saturday from me playing Malice for the first time at locals. I'll start rolling those out as I go. And then we'll go from here and move forward, and we'll learn this together, guys. Thanks for watching.